We're sitting here at IMEX in Frankfurt with Joanne Celens from Synthetron. And Synthetron is, I think, a fascinating product with a lot of meeting industry potential. Joanne, tell us a little bit about Synthetron and how it came to be.
How it came to be? It actually came from the corporate communication, where the idea was, how do we get to listen to a large group of employees and really find out what's going on, what's the heart, have the finger on the pulse of hearts and minds of people. And from there the solution came to invent this kind of a very clever chat where 1,000 people in 1 hour can speak up all together, written via their PC online, and we'll collaboratively identify the most important ideas. So at the end you have the short list of top ideas and opinions, and you can listen to a crowd, and you can engage a crowd in a conversation where everybody is a peer and everybody enjoys actually being part of it.
So you say 1,000 people, but this sounds like impossible. You know, how do you get 1,000 people to chat together, and how do you monitor what's happening, and how do you?
You actually don't monitor the people, you monitor the process. And how do you get 1,000 people together is that there's a very clever group structure behind that you're not directly talking to every 1,000, you're directly talking to some direct neighbors in a subgroup, and every idea that your subgroup is finding important is actually presented to the neighbors of you. And in this way you have a kind of a Darwinian struggle of survival of ideas taking place, and the group itself identifies in a very open way what it finds the most important ideas and opinions.
So in a way, when somebody has an idea, everybody can like score and give points to that idea, and then ideas that get the best scores, they kind of flow to the top, and everybody else gets to see them. And very interesting, very clever. And how do you apply this to meetings? Because that's what we're here for. You know, we're talking about meetings and conferences, and how do you make that part of a meeting?
Well, actually, Synthetron is a kind of a meeting. It's a big social brainstorm.
It's a virtual meeting.
It's a virtual meeting.
Yeah, but here we're trying to sell venues and destinations.
No, but that's why I'm just putting it. It's and it actually reinforces a lot of these meetings, because what it does, it allows you to prepare your meeting and get your participants engaged and get the issues on the table.
Oh,
so that in the meeting, before the meeting, so that in the meeting you can focus on the issues that are relevant in the eyes of the participants. You can do it during a meeting whenever you have a need to really have a large workshop, kind of where not the traditional one, but you want to engage many people. And you can do it after a meeting, where we've done a lot to actually keep the finger on the pulse and keep the momentum and keep the focusing on the topic of the meeting.
Okay, and so it creates value in a way that people get the topics that they're interested in, so they learn. They learn the right things, so you build an educational program with it?
What you basically do, you make people think about the subject of the meeting before they come to the meeting. So part of the brain starts of their thinking, and something is in that also, because they have to write their own ideas and they have to score the ideas of others. It's a very active process. It's not something where you just sit and stand by and watch things happening. You're very actively involved. So that's where there's a lot of momentum created, but there's also a lot of learning created.
Okay.
And for the organizer, it's an incredible value of insights, because you have all the verbatim, but that's a bit a lot to, if you have 1,000 people doing this, you have 10,000 ideas, you can't manage that. But you get the top 100, which people identify themselves, and that's actionable.
So can you also imagine this being used in like a hybrid meeting, where you have a group of people in a real meeting face-to-face, and then other group is staying at home and participating? Is that a way that you can use it too?
That's actually many years ago already we did that. It's indeed where you are, meetings are confronted with cost issues. And one of the key elements of a meeting is actually the networking and the engagement of people. And that in cost means that sometimes you can't invite everybody, but you can engage them with the web conference showing and telling, but you can also engage them with Synthetron in the feedback, in the listening and the working together. So the brainstorm session is then held together with the ones in the meeting and outside the meeting, and wherever you are is not important. You randomly have a place in the Synthetron meeting structure.
So the big difference with, let's say, when you would use the chat like something like Twitter, and 1,000 people start tweeting, you just get a lot of information.
Avalanche.
And there is no filtering, there is no control by the participants of what is interesting and what is not. but your system actually kind of
There's
filters
a
and
filter.
collaborative filters.
And the other thing is, it's moderated. It's
Okay.
like meetings are always moderated. You want to focus the discussion on certain topics that matter, and you kind of prevent deviation to topics that are not relevant for the meeting purpose. And so you control somehow the content in the sense that you make people focus on that content, and you bring them from a typical diversion to conversion type of thinking. So that's a very important other difference.
Wonderful. I hope a lot of people will experiment with your product in meetings and conferences, and thank you for sharing your information with us.
Thank you.